I know that Magic Johnson once said, you ask not what your teammates can do for you, but what you can do for your teammates.
100%.
The interesting thing for you, Vince, though, is that you are a Hall of Fame player. You're a superstar player, and there are a lot of guys in this league that go through a career arc that is not as unique or as special as you. So can you explain the process of being on the mountaintop in that way, and then your role changing throughout your career to get to this point, and what it is about you that innately opens you up to share your experiences with the team the way you do?
Well, it's just something I enjoy doing. At one point, I thought I wanted to be a coach. Now that I've gotten older,
You're laughing about that
because I don't think that's what I want to do anymore. Well, no, I know that's not what I want to do anymore. But at the same time, I can still be a coach, be that assistant, fifth assistant coach, where the coach says something. You know how it is when coach says something you don't want to hear it. You go to the end of the bench, but it's that guy said, hey, this is what he's trying to say, or just that voice of reason, so to speak. So, and it's always been a part of me, and I get to really show it more now that I spend a little more time on the bench than in my earlier years, and I see more, and I've just been around, and the guys and the coaching staff has allowed me to do so.
Vince, we played together in Phoenix, so I know you're a great teammate. Obviously, you talked about coaching last year at Summer League. You were there sort of as an unofficial coach helping the guys on the Memphis Grizzlies, so you get a great satisfaction. I just want to know what it was like to have a Duke guy present to a Carolina guy.
I said that to him earlier too.
You okay with that, right?
It was kind of weird, but at the same time, I was caught in the moment to where it was okay.
Okay, all right, good. I just wanted to make sure. You both are smiling, so I guess it was all good.
Everybody was happy.
Good. Well, congratulations.
But he did take a visit to Carolina. I'm not gonna say first, but he did take a visit to Carolina. But that didn't work.
Yeah, I saw you said the other day that you want to play 2 more years. Is that?
That's the goal. I'm going year by year.
Yeah.
I figured when I first started, I said 15 years would be phenomenal as a career, and I got to 15. I said, I could do 2 more. I could do 2 more. So now I'm here at 18. So 20 would be unbelievable career for anyone, so I'm going to try it.
Well, that television deal is really kicking in for everybody,
yeah, right.
isn't it?
Well, one of your earlier phases was probably chapter 2 in New Jersey, and you played with Richard Jefferson.
Yes.
Last night, big story, gets the start for the injured Kevin Love. How amazed are you to see him with this huge gap between finals appearances?
Regardless, I'm happy for him. The one thing about inserting him into the starting lineup, he's not going to get rattled. He's been there before. He knows the atmosphere, and he can just go out there and play. And I think he was solid. I think at one point I saw he had 9 points and 9 rebounds. I mean, that's what you want from him. He knows his role, and he's very athletic. He can get in the open court. He's another defender. The way they switch on pick and rolls, it worked out perfect for them.
You have a lot of guys that you've played with that are involved in this series.
You're right.
Channing Frye.
Yes.
You guys played with him.
Yeah, we both did, yeah.
What about going up against the Warriors as much as you have? I remember one of the game you started this year was in Memphis, and you got to see the Warriors and a huge win they got, but your crowd was amazing that night. What was it like playing against these guys the last few years when they were evolving to be this team?
Well, first of all, discipline. Defensively is where it all comes from, and you have to stay disciplined, because what they do is they share the ball extremely well, and I just think the remedy, in my opinion, you have to rough them up. You have to make Steph Curry defend, and you have to make him guard in pick and rolls and bump him a little bit. And you saw a lot of that in OKC. I think they wore him down a lot, and the shot wasn't there like we've seen all season. And now in the playoffs, I think that's what Cleveland is trying to do. What they're trying to do is say, hey, we're going to try our best to beat you up and make your role players beat us. And, of course, they were successful in game 1 and 2, but now you're seeing the struggle of their entire team.
Vince, now, we discussed here earlier today about Kevin Love, the possibility of Love playing in game 4.
Elephant in the room.
And so we're just curious, Tyronn Lue last night did not tip his hand whether he was going to play. I'm assuming that he was cleared through this concussion protocol. But if you were in his shoes, we know you don't want to be a coach, but we're going to assume you are the coach. What would you do with Kevin Love coming back, playing game 4? Would you start him or would you not start him?
I'd lose a lot of sleep, first of all, inserting him, taking him out, inserting, taking him out. But at the end of the day, you're trying to tie the series, and you're trying to win an NBA championship. You look at tape and you see the success you had last night with, well, I think inserting LeBron at the 4 and bringing RJ in, and it worked for you. Why not stick with it? And then if it's not working, you have the luxury of bringing in Kevin Love off the bench, and you can play him as many minutes as you want from there. I think stick with what you have right now, and then you can adjust accordingly.
You think we talk so much about what Cleveland should do. You know, Golden State, nobody saw a blowout coming after the first couple of games, so they're in a bit of recovery mode themselves to get both Clay and Steph going in the next game somehow, some way. Is there something for Golden State that you have any concerns with, or do you feel like, you know what, they'll put this one to bed and they'll be much better in the game
I
four?
think they'll be much better, but this is when the series starts now. Now this is when it really gets interesting, because you expected Cleveland to come out, hit them in the mouth the first 5 minutes, and go from there. Then, you know, you're going to say, hey, yeah, Golden State's going to make their run, keep it close at halftime, and there's a great second-half team. I think once they weren't able to do that, you see the fight was knocked right out of them. So now I think they're going back to the drawing board. They're hearing us talk and all of that stuff about what happened to Golden State, what happened to this unanimous MVP, so on and so forth. So I expect them to come out, and now they're going to try to take the crowd out of it the first 5 minutes and pull this off.
With how high the Warriors have set the bar and how close the Spurs are and how good the Thunder were late in the year, and you've got the Clippers and so much talent out there in the West, when you evaluate what's going on this summer with Memphis, you got a new coach and your star point guard's a free agent. How much work has to be done to catch up to those teams?
A lot of work. But the one thing I feel like teams around, not even just in the West, around the NBA, say, oh, we want to be like Golden State. Everybody can't be like Golden State, because first and foremost, you have to find the guys that are willing to be the role player and accept their role. That's the biggest problem. I mean, first of all, it's tough to find another Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to shoot the ball like that. And when you can implement an offense like that, but you still have to have willing players, guys who are willing to sacrifice their games for the good of the team. And that's what they do great. And all teams can't do that, and I think that's where a lot of teams fall short. So you kind of have to be yourself. Yeah, you want to put the offense, and you want to try to implement that slowly, but not many teams can really mirror the Golden State Warriors.
I can't wait till Vince talks to Coach Fizdale and this whole coaching idea, Grant, that he's saying he's dismissing. He's going to sit down with Fizz. He's going to have a pen.
He's got 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
pen in his hand. He's going to be drawn up. He's going to grab the salt and pepper shaker. He's going to be saying, hey, we should do this and this. It'll happen.
Coach Carter.
No, man.
Hey, that's
You can
we've
coach
heard
in
that
TV
before.
too. Yeah,
We've heard
I've
that before. Yeah, I saw that movie.